Hey guys, welcome to Beyond Civilization. Today we're here in eastern Texas to check out the remains of an abandoned World War I ship graveyard. Today we're way out here on the marshy border between Texas and Louisiana, and we'll be exploring a lost World War I ship graveyard, which contains the partially submerged remains of at least 16 colossal ships that have been laying here for almost a century. However, one of these submerged wrecks looks much older than the rest, and it might just be hiding a historical secret. My name is Mauricio, and I'm an explorer and adventurer. If you'd like to join me as I explore the abandoned, historical, and natural hidden wonders that the United States has to offer, feel free to subscribe to my channel, but prepare to buckle up. This is gonna be a wild ride. The ship graveyard we're visiting is located right beside a so-called Pavel Island, named after Captain Augustine and Sophie Pavel's cotton brokerage that used to be located on the island in 1853. Just below the surface of these green murky waters lurks something huge. No, it's not an alligator, at least not now during the winter. It's a group of 16 massive wooden holes. What was their purpose, and how in the world did they end up here? Not sure how much you can see, but there's a piece of the ship right under the surface. Yeah, right there you can see all these fragments of metal sticking up right above the surface. Their story begins in early 1917 as America entered World War I in Europe, which had already been raging for 3 long years. The US quickly realized that there were not enough merchant ships to transport the food, supplies, guns, and ammunition that would be needed by American troops. As a result, the Emergency Fleet Corporation was established by the United States Shipping Board in order to meet this sudden and extraordinary demand for ships. The city of Orange, Texas, which had a long history of successfully building wooden ships, was selected for the task. One of the more common ship configurations, the Ferris design ships, were built in orange, measuring 270 feet in length and weighing in at 3,500 deadweight tons. They were equipped with wooden deck houses on the bridge, a single smokestack, and coal-powered engines which were capable of propelling the ship at 10 knots, or about 11.5 miles an hour. Yeah, so these are the wrecks of several wooden ships that were built throughout the course of World War I in order to help with the shipping and transportation needs of the American forces. Wooden ships during a war might not sound like a great idea, but we have to remember the steel shortages during that time. So they needed ships fast, and so this is what they resorted to. A big fragment here. Maybe an anchor or something. I think we're going right along the side of the ship. There's so much more below the surface that you could probably see if the water were a bit lower. Right now the water is probably average height. It's hard to do the size justice. It's a pretty big ship. I don't think I need to tell you this, but don't bring an inflatable kayak out here. You're not gonna have a great time. There's actually some wood remaining there. That's pretty impressive. It's faring okay, given the rough nature of the weather around here. Again, got some rotting wood in sight. Pretty impressive. Got a big piece of the ship around here. Maybe the front of the ship. One of the more intact sections left. The birds are loving it. Got some wood going on. It's a nice big part of the ship here. These ships are massive. There's a big sheet of metal left, still intact. I mean, remember, this thing has been through so many hurricanes and storms around here in the Texas, Louisiana area. It's hard to do the scale justice. You have to be here to see it. But these ships are massive, like I said. So we are right over the ship right now. Pretty cool. And you got some wood remaining on this one too. I'm not sure if you can see that. You can see those giant nails are rusting pretty good right there. You can see it pretty clearly. Look at the size of that nail or screw right there. Pretty massive. And there they are, trying to keep the ship together. There's quite a bit of wood left here too. Some of these wooden ships burned, sank, or were lost at sea throughout the war, but not before their bold supply runs had provided a crucial helping hand to American forces. So what happens when the war ends? Well, those ships are no longer needed and you have a bunch of wooden ships and you don't know what to do with them. So they tried selling them at steep discount prices, but they just weren't able to get rid of all of them. Storage fees were expensive and taking them apart wasn't going to be cheap either. So what's the best thing to do? Well, in the case of this group of ships, they just let them rot here in the shallow water until eventually time took its toll, the wood began to rot, and eventually they just sunk to the bottom of the river. And here are the wrecks now. As I'm performing my drone flyover above the ship graveyard, I'm a little startled to hear a noise in the water nearby and realize that a beaver is actually swimming in the water right beside my kayak. So I come up with a plan. I'm gonna bring my aerial camera here and fly the drone back to see if I can capture the beaver on footage. Mission accomplished, although we may have unwittingly caused some panic in the process. Once the beaver filming is concluded, I can go back to surveying the ship graveyard with my drone, and the investigation continues. Some say that one of the ships located here is not quite like the others. First of all, it looks much older and more weathered than the rest. In addition, its hull is large and wide, while all the others are long and slender. Thus, some believe that this hull is the remains of the cotton-clad Confederate States ship Josiah Bell. It's really spectacular to think that there could be a sunken, cotton-clad Confederate steamboat somewhere around here. In a little-known battle on January 21st of 1863, the CSS Josiah Bell and the CSS Uncle Ben chased the Union States ship Morning Light and the USS Velocity 30 miles out into the Gulf of Mexico. In a brief battle, the Confederate steam-powered ships were able to defeat and capture the Union warships. Near the end of the war, the capture and occupation of the city of Orange by Union forces seemed imminent, so it's said that the Confederates towed the steamship to an undisclosed location about 4 miles south of Orange, right around here, and sunk it in order to prevent it from falling into Union hands. I'm going to admit I don't know exactly which of these wrecks it is. It's hard to tell the exact proportions from down here, and it's possible that it may be completely underwater at this point in time and we haven't even found it. However, just as I'm pondering where to search next, I feel a thud with my kayak, and I realize that my kayak is stuck on the metal hull of a shipwreck. Yeah, so currently I think we're actually inside one of those old shipwrecks. I keep accidentally hitting solid metal that's just under the surface, but the murky waters make it very hard to spot. I'm not sure if this is the ship that's different. It's hard to tell their exact proportions from here, but this ship is in a slightly different area from the rest of them. So it's possible this could be it. I send the drone out to survey the area from above, and I soon realize that this is not just any shipwreck. This may be the exact historical relic that I've been looking for, the remains of CSS Josiah Bell. Upon comparing the shape and size of this shipwreck with the other ones, it's clear that there's a major difference. This one is far smaller than the rest, and it's also short and wide instead of long and slender, which matches exactly the reported description of the lost cotton-clad Confederate shipwreck. So as we can see, both this wreck's physical description and its final resting place could potentially match what we know about the final days of the lost Confederate warship. Could this possibly be the long-lost grave of the Confederate steamship Josiah Bell? Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to come along with me on my future adventures. Thanks a lot for coming along with me on this adventure, and I hope to see you on the next one.